The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
You're now about to witness the truth.
It's the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am your host, Benjamin Dixon. It is Wednesday, July 12th, 2017. Pardon me. Thanks so much for joining us. That didn't transition the way I wanted. So thanks for bearing with us this week. We are rebuilding the show here in, well, at least this week, we're trying to rebuild the show to broadcast from Atlanta, for a couple of weeks. And so I'm back streaming to you, but not with my regular setup. Okay, that did not take either. So pardon me as I'm working this live. So this is, again, like a behind the screens view of the Benjamin Dixon Show as we build this out. Okay. I don't know what to say. America, I don't know. Should we be more surprised by the fact that Kid Rock is considering a run for the U.S. Senate, ladies and gentlemen? Kid Rock. I don't know whether I should be surprised or not. The reason I don't know whether or not I should be surprised is because, my gut reaction was, wow, this is like white male Christian privilege run amok. But the reality of it is like, when has that ever not been the time here in the United States? I mean, when have we ever seen a time where you couldn't just get away? It's not like George W. Bush was that dynamic of a human being becoming president. And so while it seems like it's extraordinarily absurd now, the reality is that this is pretty much how it's been for a long time in America. All right. So, I mean, I don't know whether we should be surprised, but it is still amazing. It's still something. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it should be expected. That's hard to say. Or rather, I don't know if it should be unexpected. That is difficult to say. But this is the natural trend that we've seen in America. We get more and more absurd, where if you were a black person, a brown person, a woman, if you were anything but and all, no offense to all the white males who are listening, but particularly white conservative men. I mean, we have quickly devolved in terms of the caliber of man that they put up. This is so, it's a trend. It's definitely a trend, but now we've gone down from Dwight Eisenhower, down to Donald Trump, and now on the Senate level, we're considering Kid Rock. That is that's amazing to me. I'm not quite sure what to do with that. But yeah, here we are. What do you think about that? Are you surprised? Because it's still staggering. That's the thing. It's like, okay, of course he could run. This is not the first time we've had a celebrity, right? All those things. Not the first time we had celebrities. We've had comedians who become senators. So this is not, completely beyond the pale. However, what qualifications in terms of character we don't even pretend to care about the character anymore. And I guess that makes sense post Donald Trump. How could they ever pretend to care about the character of a major candidate when they elected Donald Trump to be president of the United States? That, my friends, is the question of the day. And I don't think that we can answer it. So because of that, it isn't, it should not be surprising, even though it is. It's a devolution, man. I'm serious. It's a devolution, and it's going to be championed. We got to what's the movie? Idiocracy. We got to Idiocracy far quicker than I ever imagined. I never imagined we would get to Idiocracy in my lifetime. But I think it's safe to say that we are officially there. And the only question is, have we not been here for a long time? Have we not been devolving? I mean, they venerate Ronald Reagan, of all people. You know, they venerate an actor who was, you know, probably suffering from dementia when he came into the White House. But they venerate him as some, and then the things that he did do directly harmed the majority of Americans. Not that they actually cared about that, but the things that he did do harmed the majority of working class and middle class Americans. But yet they venerated Ronald Reagan, or they still continue to venerate Ronald Reagan. And to them, he's like the quintessential example of a good president. And to me, I'm like, chabu. They think Ronald Reagan is like it. Oh my God, we want to be more like Reagan. And I'm like, bruh, seriously? Why would you want, of all people, to be like this dude? And that's because the level of what we expect from Republicans, from conservatives, from white Christian men, it's the level of mediocrity, that we come to, you know, you have to be, how can I put this? You have, you know, here it is. When growing up as a person of color, as a black man in America, I was always told I had to be twice as good as anybody else. Always. I had to. You know, good is not good enough. You have to be twice as good as everyone else to get an opportunity. Well, if that was true for, let's say, Barack Obama, then Donald Trump is not only half of what Donald Trump is like 1/8 of what President Obama was. So that's America. And that's why I'm confused as whether or not I'm actually surprised, or whether or not I am, this makes perfect sense to me. Leave your comments in the comment section. I actually, as you can tell, I am genuinely confused by that. I'm confused by that. But, you know, that's more of an esoterical question. The news of the day really is that Kid Rock is serious about running for the Senate. Serious enough to have Sarah Palin retweeted out. And you know, when you have these blank slate, these people who are a complete blank slate politically and ideologically, they do exactly what Donald Trump did. They take the talking points of the Republican Party, lock in step and march in step with that, and boom. They have what they believe to be a coherent strategy, but really they just took notes from the GOP and regurgitated it. All right. Leave those comments. I keep wanting to say 857-600-0518. I think after this week of me setting up, I think that's going to get rid of the need for me to lean on that number as a crutch phrase, but I digress. But I do want to hear your comments. Leave your comments in the comment section, and let's see. Erdem said, why is there no video? Well, again, like, if you may have missed the first couple of seconds of the show tonight, there's no video and it's audio only, mainly because I am reconstructing the show at a new location, and I will have it up as soon as we can. Hey, Ben, there's a question up here. 1 second. Let's see if I can get this question. Hey, Ben, have you kept up with Yvette Carnell, and do you get a chance to listen to Antonio Moore's videos on the economic crisis in the black community? Yeah, me and Yvette, we talk regularly on Facebook. Yvette is of Breaking Brown. I did a lot of work with she and Boyce Watkins years ago. A lot of videos, great videos of she and I debating issues that we vehemently disagreed on, and then some videos that we agreed on. Yeah, she's still doing her thing. Antonio Moore, though, I'm glad you mentioned that. Antonio Moore is an attorney out of LA, and he is a dynamic. He's a dynamic voice on black economics and black poverty as it pertains to this neoliberal system. Right. And I think that's part of what makes his critique so fascinating, is that he is critiquing it from the ravages of neoliberalism on minority communities, but particularly the black community. And so I would recommend, highly recommend you checking out his series of videos, because they really put into context a construct that you can use a framework rather, that you can use even if you're not from the black community. All right. One more question here. Okay, we're all set. All right. A couple of other stories, a couple of other things that are going down. I'm going to come back to the story of the net neutrality story because I want to spend some time on it. The things I want to hit that I don't really want to talk too long about, whether or not Hillary Clinton was aided by the Ukraine or by Ukraine. This is a this is a story that's important to me for probably not the reasons you may think. It's important to me because I find I need people who I like. It's important to me because if you're going to be truthful and straightforward and consistent, then you go where the facts go and you don't go where the facts don't go. And what I mean by that is that you don't offer up a straw man as a means of distracting from or deflecting from a prominent narrative, a prominent media narrative. And what am I saying? What I'm saying is this. When Donald Trump Jr.'s emails came out yesterday, it does not require us to have a knee-jerk reaction to say, oh, yeah, but look at this with Hillary Clinton and the Ukraine as reported back in January. No, right now today we're talking about the fact that Donald Trump Jr. implicated himself in the best evidence that has come out so far of collusion with Russia. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't prove, it doesn't not necessarily prove it was a crime. It doesn't prove anything. Those are questions of legal questions, right? We're going to allow the attorneys and the investigators to do what they do and define and determine, and the judges to determine whether or not it crossed some type of legal threshold. So that's besides the point. The point is that there was a direct connection between Donald Trump, Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner. There's only one step from there to Donald Trump. And this is how close this information got directly to Donald Trump. And again, in terms of the evidence, the emails themselves, here's the important thing to remember. Kushner, Manafort, and Jr., they knew exactly what they were going into. The emails expressly said that they have information that has connected to the Russian government's effort to assist you against Hillary Clinton's campaign. You know, this is literally what the damn emails said. So the three of them, the three musketeers, knew exactly, the three stooges rather, knew exactly what they were going to and knew to expect this. Now, whether or not they got it or not, that's kind of irrelevant. The point is that the three of them, who's next? Who's above them? Who's above Manafort? And who do they answer to? It's not like they had to go through 3 or 4, 6 different intermediaries to get to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the very next voice from those three. And why does that matter? That matters because if they are the representation of the Trump campaign, and that matters expressly for the question of solicitation of assistance from foreign governments. This is an FEC rule. And if a campaign is seen as getting a contribution in kind, even if it's a information rather than money, then this breaks the FEC law rules. So did the campaign go with the expectation that even if they didn't receive it, the solicitation thereof is considered to be illegal? So this is why it matters. It matters because they are the very representation of Donald Trump's campaign. And this now is a legal question. So how does it connect to the story of the Ukraine? Well, this is what is so disingenuous that I've seen done since yesterday. And I took some time before I actually spoke out on this because I wanted to make sure I was understanding the story correctly. It was necessary to understand the story correctly because, it could, if you don't know, it honestly could have gone either way. Maybe there was clear evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign was aided by the Ukraine. I don't know. Let's go see. Let's read it. And as I read the story, it became painfully evident that people have thrown this up as a deflection and a straw man, and in the most disingenuous way. If there was something there, I would tell you. Right? And you don't even need me to tell you. You can go see for yourself. All right. Now, here we are. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. But So the connection between the Donald Trump campaign and the attempt to get information from a Russian government-connected lawyer who was getting information that she let them know was from the Russian government. That connection is direct with Donald Trump, and there is they are rather the representation of the campaign. Okay, finally, this story from the Ukraine. The person involved in this story from the Ukraine was a DNC consultant, not even a member of the DNC, but a consultant, a Ukrainian-American consultant who was consulting with the Ukrainian embassy. And she got information from the Ukrainian embassy, and it appeared as though they were willing to assist her in a manner that could very well be a violation of the same law we're saying Donald Trump Jr. violated. So we're not saying that there's no committal of a law, but who is it being done by? It's being done by a DNC consultant who has how many steps between a DNC consultant and the candidate for the president of the United States, Hillary Clinton? What, at least 6 steps? At a minimum 5 steps between this DNC consultant before even getting in front of Hillary Clinton? And so they're using this as an example of saying, oh, what Hillary Clinton did was the same. Well, no, in this case, it absolutely is not. And why does it matter? Why does it matter? It matters for the context of the story, right? It matters for the context of the controversy. It matters because it's an attempt to distract us, but the people who are doing the distracting have rather been a big disappointment. A big disappointment, because if your niche and if your thing is to be have journalistic integrity, and if your thing is to follow the logic and follow the reasoning, and if your thing is to go wherever the evidence leads you, and then you turn around and conveniently pull up this nothing. Like this is akin to saying accusing Ben Dixon of theft, and the person who stole it was actually my nephew from twice removed. You know, this is how much of a stretch it is between Hillary Clinton getting aid from the Ukraine and Donald Trump Jr. getting aid from Russia. And I expect more of our side. I do, and that's why I'm saying I expect more. I don't expect anything of Republicans. I expect very little of neoliberals. But in terms of progressives on the left, those of us who, because ostensibly aren't we the ones with integrity? Everyone else is being a shield. So if that's our modus operandi, then clearly we lost our way when we looked at this story in the Ukraine, and it is as far away from Hillary Clinton as I am from Barack Obama. I probably can go to 3 degrees of separation to get directly to Obama. Anyway, so it matters. It matters, and holistically, what matters is that we don't have to do but ands. You know, actually, I can simplify it even more. You don't have to like Hillary Clinton to speak out about what is happening with Donald Trump. You don't have to. It's not an indication. When we call out Donald Trump and we call out his now evidence of possible collusion, you know, if we call him out, that does not translate to, oh, he loves Hillary Clinton. No, it simply means that these are what the facts say. These are what the facts say, and just let it speak. And here's a hint that I always got from Elon. I can't think of Elon James White. You could just not say anything. You don't always have to say something. If this narrative bothers you and you look at the story and the story is a piece of shit, a piece of crap, logically a piece of crap, then you could just not say anything. But people have this knee-jerk reaction, this need to say, oh, this is a narrative that potentially helps the DNC. This is, and I'm sorry, folks who may be new, but this is inside progressivism, right? This is kind of inside politics. But you know, you don't have to have this knee-jerk reaction where anything that's possibly helpful to the DNC or Hillary Clinton or neoliberalism, then we just can't do it. So therefore, anything negative against their opposition, we want to suppress anything negative about their opposition. Now, here's a real question, and not to go over into the Lewis Mensch realm. I am genuinely curious as to how many people are unaware that they're doing this, one. Or number two, doing it on purpose. And there was a third one, but I can't really think. Like, are they ignorant to this? Are they so angry that they don't care? Like, that's a possibility. They're so angry with what happened with the DNC and with Hillary Clinton, they don't care that if in this moment they're using it they're not being logical or they're being disingenuous, but they don't care because they feel like Hillary Clinton's that dangerous. Or are they there doing it intentionally? All right, there you have it. All right, so that's clearly what's been on my mind a little bit today, just a little bit. We'll check out some more of your comments. I want to talk about what's going on with net neutrality. We are closer than ever before to losing the internet as we know it. And there's a campaign that's happening now to stop Comcast and AT&T and these major internet service providers from creating these different lanes, these traffic lanes. I'll put it like this: if you do video, or if you do anything that consumes a lot of bandwidth, there is a possibility that if this passes, your entire company would be done. You know, we'll be that much. Can you understand the level to which we'll be that much more dependent on platforms with extreme amounts of money like YouTube? We'll be so dependent on YouTube because they'll be the only ones with the infrastructure, with the revenue rather, to spend on the widest lane. And so any dreams of getting something truly independent in progressive media would be scuttled. Any dreams would be scuttled right away because you would always have to be dependent on major corporations to even give you access to the bandwidth necessary to do your broadcast. Or you could just, you could blog, you could write, and just do that. But here we are, the fight for net neutrality. And the article there's an article on progressivearmy.com that you should check out. It was published on yesterday, the fight for net neutrality. When we fight, we win. And if you go to progressivearmy.com, I do believe I could bring that up. Yeah, I can bring that up on the screen. This is ME1. All right, if you go to progressivearmy.com, and you'll see a message from the Progressive Army. That's us. That's our family. Net neutrality is in peril. We all have until Monday, July 17th, to fight for it. Net neutrality is extremely important to the work that everyone at the Progressive Army does. More importantly, it's crucial to a free society in the 21st century and beyond. On this day of action, we ask that you fight for the internet. We call for free and open internet. Information is power. Please help us fight back. And then it links you to our editorial on the story, on the news. This is one of those things that we need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck. This is our editorial. We need all hands on deck for you to give a message. Send a message. Leave a note. Explain your position as a citizen. There's not, I only pause and I only hesitate because of the frustration that I know many people get, feeling that they're just one voice and there's not really anything that they could do. They're just one voice. So it is the frustration, and I get it. And not only that, the frustration of the deck is already stacked against us. Right, the amount of power that corporations have to get their way, the deck is clearly already stacked against us. So what do? Well, the truth is we can't not do nothing. I mean, how about a triple negative for you? We can't sit by and do nothing. We can't. Even if it's something where we're falling on our sword and we're just fighting just for the sake of it's the right thing to do. Well, damn it, get out there and do your part. So what what can you do? There's several places that you can go and leave your comments. You can comment on the FCC's proposed changes. You can send an email. There's so many ways to get your voice heard on this issue, and we absolutely need everyone to do it. There's a website called dearfcc.org. And what it does is it's a personally a note. They give you a sample note, and then give you an opportunity to say why the internet matters to you. Sign that and send it off. They do the work for you. So go there and leave a comment, or go directly to the FCC proceedings page. But go to dearfcc.org and leave a comment as to why the internet matters to you. This is our, it's almost like, okay, this may be a very bad comparison, but the frustration is what I'm comparing, okay, folks? So it's almost like climate change. It's almost like climate change in the sense where we may already be too late. That very well, and it may seem like our fight is futile. But we can't not do nothing to do a triple negative again. We have to do something. So similarly, that level of, desperation, maybe it's already stacked against us. Maybe the corporations have already won. Maybe Comcast has already won. The frustration is the same. The frustration is exactly the same, but the answer is also still the same. You can't stand by and doing nothing. You absolutely have to get involved. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And speaking of climate change, did you read today about the Delaware-sized ice mass that broke off, permanently changing the shape of Antarctica? The size of Delaware, 4 times the size of London. Now, it doesn't pose an immediate threat, and by immediate, I mean just, the fact that it moves slowly, and it's going to take a long time before it gets into the waters deep enough to actually present a problem. But that is in motion, and it's on its way. Meanwhile, we have a party in power who doesn't believe in climate change, and we have an opposition party in power who really isn't willing to go far enough to halt the effects, if any. I mean, not saying they're going to halt climate change. They're not doing anything to halt any of the effects, not significantly. And so this is the crazy world that we live in. We're sitting by, literally seeing the effects of climate change around us, and we have people in power who are either too concerned about business interests to do what's necessary to actually halt some of the effects, even if we can't stop the entire process. And then you have a political party in power that doesn't even believe it exists. Meanwhile, in Antarctica, I mean, can you understand? No, I'm sorry. I'm asking as though I'm asking as if you're not on this planet with me, because clearly you understand the level of frustration that must cause you, right? This must frustrate you the same amount that it frustrates me. Like, how the hell do we have people in charge of our planet, for lack of a better phrase, right? We have people in charge of our planet who don't even recognize the science that shows us that our planet is at risk. I mean, good luck to us. And did you see the article last week, or it may have been earlier this week, that shows some of the effects of climate change and the rapidly increasing temperatures that could make the Earth uninhabitable? And we're talking about in maybe a generation, maybe the next generation. So, and I see people saying it all the time. Oh, I apologize to my kids for bringing my kids into the world because we're going to leave them. They're going to have to see the destruction of the humanity because of the effects of climate change. Oh, was me. I'm not going to bring my children into the world. I hear that. I totally get it. But hell, my kids are here. Bitch, we got to do something about this. While the rest of you guys are planning for it to be over, I'm like, motherfucker, we got to plan to live. Shit. We got to do something, even in the face of this obscenity of a lack of leadership and willful ignorance from the Republican Party and the fear of treading on the feet of corporations, passing legislation that is basically symbolic from the Democratic Party. That's some amazing stuff, man. Amazing in the most depressing way. Depressing in the most, impressive way. I'm sorry. It's staggering. It's part of me. This is where, you all know I am allergic to conspiracy theories, but this is why I'm stammering and so many blank spaces, because this is where I delve over into conspiracy theories. I really believe the only way that you can logically explain the behavior of Republicans and Democrats on climate change is that they know with scientific certainty that we are too far gone to be saved anyway. And to ward off against mass hysteria, they just keep business as usual, pretending to fight about an issue that the die has already been cast. Because honestly, if you do a thought experiment, that's the only logical way to explain this type of behavior. But then I think I see some rashes. I'm allergic to conspiracy theories. All right. All right, let's keep trucking here. Erdem, I like Erdem on YouTube. He said the other option is they could have a plan for themselves. That's basically, it doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to get off of that because it is extremely frustrating. But again, like with everything else we talked about tonight, even in the face of adversity and feeling that you cannot get anything done because you're just one voice and this deck is already stacked against us, you absolutely have to do something anyway. We're that type of people. 857-600-0518. Now, you can leave a voicemail, and I can pull the voicemail up. If you do, tell us where you're from, your name, and where you're from, and then leave your comment. And if I can get it, we can pull it up into the show and discuss it. I want to talk about a couple of videos. A couple of videos from the internet showing police brutality. And it's another case of I'm not sure if I should be surprised anymore, because this is America, right? This is what we see all the time. So why be surprised? But then at the same time, you look at the absurdity of it, the frequency of it, and you say you and the level of escalation, like the heights that it goes now, right? It's almost like you got to be kidding me. You're punking us, right? This is, the camera's going to come out the other side and say, surprise, we were just playing to see, how far we could take you. Because I feel like the level to which it gets in America now with police violence against people of color, black people, black women, black men, Hispanic people, I honestly feel like the level to which that it gets now is so comical that they have to be playing a joke on us. So today I came across all three videos dealing with police dogs and police officers using dogs to attack people who had already surrendered. And the first video is out of Reno, Nevada, and where the U.S. Marshals were chasing a guy, I believe his name was Enrique Corona, and he was a fugitive. So the marshals were already after him, and so the local sheriff's department got involved, and so they got into a car chase. The car chase ended, because Corona ended it. Corona pulled his car over. He got out of the car, got on his knees, put his hands locked behind his head, fingers interlocked behind his head. And what did the police do? They had at least 10 seconds to see him in this position, maybe 5. I'll give them the benefit of the damn doubt. Maybe 5 seconds to ascertain the situation, but anyone reasonable within 1 second at looking at this video would realize that Corona was completely and utterly surrendering and not a threat to them. And what do these fine gentlemen do? They sick a dog on him, sinking his teeth into his biceps. The dog sunk his teeth into the man's chest and basically mauled him. The video's been all over. I shared it today. Most of you, if you follow me, you've already seen it, but it's completely perverse and obscene. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, he was doing his best not to even fight back against the damn dog because he completely surrendered. So he's not even fighting back or protecting himself in a meaningful way. He's not resisting being attacked by a dog. He's giving in because he's surrendering. And what do the police officers do? They come and they grab him by the hands, they grab him by the throat, and they tell him to stop resisting arrest. And as soon as they say those words, magic words, motherfucker, I'm sorry. But once they say those words, that gives them the license to hit you. And that's what they did to Corona. They punched the man in the face. Even though when they got on the scene, he was already on his knees with his hands locked behind his head. They sicked a dog on him and then punched him in the face and asked him why he was resisting arrest. When he wasn't even resisting against being mauled by a dog, he was completely surrendering to the dog attack, where most everyone else would be at least reacting to defend themselves. And we got it on video. And you know what? That happened back in January. Tell me what has happened since. Exactly. Nothing. So this is why I look at these videos today and I'm like, should I be surprised? I don't know. But I do know the absurdity and the level to which it is just in our faces. It makes you feel like you're being, there's a camera. What would you do? Where is Keona, whatever his name is? Like, he's going to come around the corner and say, Dixon, I've been fucking with you this whole time. We just wanted to see how you would react if everybody in the world saw the same video, saw Michael Slager getting shot 6 times in the back by Walter Scott. Flip that around. Walter Scott getting shot in the back 6 times by Michael Slager. Everybody in the world seeing this video, seeing that Slager was shooting at a man who was running away from him, then planted evidence on him. Ben, I just wanted to see if you were how you would react if we told you that a jury couldn't find him guilty. I just wanted to see if you would flip your shit, Ben. Surprise, that didn't really happen. But nope, that's not where we are in America. Where we are in America is exactly how this goes. So when I look at this video today and I think, this is the height of absurdity. Surely these guys are going to be fired, reprimanded, and maybe even charged. The reality of it is like, no. This is just what happens. They get off. They're not even going to be charged. You're the crazy one. You're the crazy one for thinking that it should be in America that once you surrender, no matter what you're guilty of, once you surrender, you are not going to be assaulted. You're not going to be summarily punished by over-aggressive and hyper-militarized police officers. That's the expectation that we have of America, but you would be expecting wrong. And that's just the first case. I'm sorry, there's a second case out of San Diego. Black man in handcuffs, face down on the ground, not a threat to anyone. And here's another big-ass canine dog sinking his teeth into the man, picking the man up by his weight with his teeth sunk into the man's arm. The man is screaming for help. Screaming for help. And in the midst of screaming for help, he's still surrendering, telling them that I'm calm. He's saying I'm comfortable. He's so distraught. He's so distraught by the pain going through his body that he's yelling, I'm comfortable. And he's not comfortable, but he didn't want to be assaulted anymore by the police officers. And so in the midst of crying for help, he's deliriously saying, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable, trying to get them to pull the damn dog off. And what do? They don't pull the dog off of him. They come and put their knee in his back and knee in his leg. This, it's not, I mean, it's so beyond funny, but like, can somebody come out and say, surprise, this is not really America. This was just a social experiment. This was a social experiment to see how you would respond if you thought America was as racist as its past indicates or dictates that it can be and is. And that was just the second case. The third case, a 19-year-old in Bakersville, California. This 19-year-old girl, Tatiana Broderick. If I got that name right, then holy crap, my memory is good. But Tatiana, 19-year-old girl coming out of a grocery store, approached by police, a case of mistaken identity. Tell me, how do they mistake a 19-year-old girl who looks like a traditional definition, not gender conforming, but still it looked like a general definition of a girl. A general definition of a girl in the traditional sense, right? It would seem as though the police could look at her and say, we're looking for a man, so this can't be her. Not in this case. And if I trampled over gender norms and didn't express it the right way, or if I said it in an offensive way, I really did do my best not to. I did try, folks. I really did try. I probably mucked that up really good. But the point of it is that the police officers, they've looked at this girl, they saw a girl, and they were looking for a man. But that didn't stop them from not only assaulting the girl, but sicking a dog on the girl, even after she reluctantly relinquished her backpack. They asked her what was in her backpack. And she first said, do you have a warrant? And she saw how aggressive they got. And what did she do? She submitted. She acquiesced. She did what she didn't even have to based on the law. She did not have to let them search her backpack, but she turned over and surrendered the backpack. And what did they do? They sicked a dog on her. I mean, damn. Damn, seriously? Is that how we? Then the voice in the back of my head says, why are you even surprised? Why are you even surprised that this happens? And then the other voice in my head says, if I'm not surprised, if I'm not angry, then they've won. They've won because if you're not surprised and you're not angry, you won't react, you won't respond, you won't speak out, you won't do your part. So you can't let them win. We can't let them win. We can't let the fact that this shit happens every day stop us from fighting against it. Thankfully, that's the last case I have for today. But all three cases in a very depressing way. All three cases were incidents where people surrendered. One needed to surrender. He was a fugitive, but he surrendered on his knees, hands behind his back. The other one was had completely surrendered because he was in handcuffs and face down. And the third girl didn't even have to, based on the law, give up her backpack, but she surrendered her backpack in order to calm the police. And in every instance, despite their surrender, they were mauled by dogs. Good morning, America. I mean, that's what we're going to wake up to tomorrow. Another video And I'm going to ask my dude, Owen, if you do anything with these clips, throw the videos in. Another video of a state attorney from Florida, a woman state attorney from Florida being pulled over by 2 male police officers. And once they realized that she was a state attorney, they realized how bad they messed up. And they realized that they had really pulled her over for no reason at all, except the fact that she was driving while black. And once they realized, oh, shit, we've pulled over the wrong person now, they start making excuses saying that, oh, well, we had never seen that type of license plate before. Bitch, you're a state trooper. How the hell you don't see that type of license plate every single day? And then once he realized how stupid that argument was, he changes it and says, well, your tint looked really dark. I don't have a tint measurer right now, just in case you're going to ask me how dark it really was. I don't have that, but it looked pretty dark to me, and so that's why we pulled you over. And the state attorney, I guess trying to be a model citizen, are just trying to get home alive. Quite frankly, excuse me, what the hell am I talking about? She's simply not trying to be a model citizen, but in hopes of getting home alive, has to suppress her anger at the fact that she gets pulled over driving while black, and she's a state attorney, and these incompetent, feckless, rookie-ass cops can't even come up with an excuse damn believable enough to not insult her, but she has to stay calm. She has to stay calm. Why? Because if she gets irate, that would give them a reason to escalate. And so what does she do? She calmly says, can I get your cards? I just need to know who you two are. And then to make matters worse, the salt in the wound, insult to the injury. The police department, of course, supported the police officers, even though we all looked at the same goddamn video. How many times we all going to look at the same damn video and see totally different things? And I'm not talking about, oh, you saw a woman in the red dress. Oh, well, I saw agents, Neo. I'm not talking about that subtle difference. I'm talking about the difference between murder and this guy's a hero. Getting away with murder and planting evidence. Michael Slager. The fact that these men, these 2 men and 1 woman, they had all surrendered completely, even though one of them didn't have to, but they still got attacked by dogs. How many times are we going to look at the same footage and come up with diametrically opposed different views? It's going to keep happening because that's America. It's going to keep happening because that's what America does. That's who America is. And if we stop getting outraged because it happens so frequently, if we ever stop getting outraged, then they have won. And there's no longer any reason to fight, but to just say that they're right and we're wrong. But nah, that's not how it's going to happen. That's not how it's going to work. I want to hear some of your comments. What are your thoughts? I've got YouTube open. I'm going to open up Twitter. I want to see your comments on Twitter and your comments on Facebook. Any of the stories that we covered so far. Do you still get surprised? Are you still angry at what you see? You know, are you still angry at the fact that you see this type of injustice every single day? I mean, every day. And then not just that injustice, what you see are people who can look at the same video as you and say, oh no, Michael Slager wasn't a criminal. He's not guilty of murder. You know, Are you still surprised by those things? Are you still outraged by those things? And how hard is it for you to be outraged? Bryce Blackwell on YouTube said, not shocked, not at all. Redo Botham on YouTube said, I'm angry until the police are abolished. Dangerous, you're not. I'm more angry at the people who tell us blacks are overreacting. Yeah. Absolutely. It does. Samus 11225 says, he says, kind of makes you want to have robot cops. Except you know how these algorithms work, though. You know, these algorithms, I mean, you know, it's not the fact that Walmart charges more in the hood. They charge you a hood tax. You know, that's not done manually by hand. I mean, that's an algorithm. That's an algorithm that knows how to discriminate. And so you put that subroutine inside of a robot, and man, you have the perfected form of racial profiling. You have racial profiling with cross-referencing on the internet faster than the person can say, you know, I surrender. Let's take a look at Facebook and see what you're saying over here. Facebook, hang on, it's not the Benjamin Dixon Show anymore on Facebook. It's just Benjamin Dixon. But that, yeah, I'm laughing at the robot thing still because, man, think about the movie Gattaca. Like, with technology, it doesn't alleviate discrimination. It just enhances their ability to be discriminatory. Yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of got the giggles. Let's take a look at and again, I want you to comment on any of the stories. Comment on Kid Rock. What do you think about Kid Rock? What do you think about? Hang on, let me pause this before. Again, I want you. Okay. Patrick Gabriel on Facebook rather, says, funny, GOP give cops all the leeway in getting away with murder, but condemn FBI and CIA for Donald Trump investigation. That is interesting. That is interesting in the sense that they are willing to they're willing. This is what I talked about last night, right? It's this. They're not dumb. In fact, they're very, very smart political propagandists. They're very, very smart people. They know when to play dumb, and they know when to be sharp as a tack and understand nuance and be able to manage a level of cognitive dissonance. And what I'm saying by that is that it's easy for them to see cops as heroes and then challenge the same legal framework or challenge the same law enforcement styled agencies when it crosses their political spectrum, when it steps on their political toes. So, yeah, it's easy for them to, you know, dismiss legal authority, the authority of policing agencies when it hurts Donald Trump. So they're smart. They're smart, absolutely smart. They just know, they're so smart they know how to play dumb. All right, folks, that's all of the stories that I have for you tonight, and that's really all the time that I have for you tonight. It is, we're about a few minutes before the hour. So listen, thanks again for your patience, and I appreciate you hanging out with me as we do the set. I really appreciate you guys going with the ups and the downs and the changes for the Benjamin Dixon Show. Thanks to our patrons who make this possible. Tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. My apologies. I know on Wednesdays we start at 8. And I just completely forgot, man. I completely forgot. So my apologies straight out to Anoa Changa, who I probably is broadcasting at the same time. I want to publicly apologize. I will get back into my slot on next week. But love you, mean it. Bye-bye.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support the Benjamin Dixon Show. It's Ben Dixon! If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com /the BPD show and support the Benjamin